I can't. I can't.
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Hello. Okay.
Yes. Haha, the
So,
point is
yes,
finally. Yes.
things, things that are not in our control.
Yes, things that are not on it. Yeah, but I was about to get anxious in next 2, 3 minutes or so.
Yes, yes. I think I would have gotten like chilled about it. Like, you know what? If it's not happening, then what can we do about it? It's not happening. If Instagram is not letting us do in life today.
Maybe we can just take a deep breath and relax our nervous system.
Yes, yes. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yes, let's start with
Okay. So
a deep
let's.
breath.
Yes. Okay. One more. You want to do one more?
Yeah, one more. I need one more.
Okay. And let's do it.
Yeah, feels better.
A little bit, slightly okay. Okay.
Yes.
Good to know.
So
Hi,
now we
Amsa.
have
Hello.
hi. So now we have come back to our body. We are feeling grounded.
Yes.
Let's begin. I
Let's begin.
had
And the topic, yes, let me just try and add the topic if I think I can here, like exactly what we are talking
mental
about.
health and well-being for all. So
Yep.
meanwhile, Pallavi is tagging the topic. I would like to introduce myself. I am a counseling psychologist based in Delhi, and I work with adult clients, mostly dealing with trauma issues, interpersonal issues, anxiety, depression, overeating, emotional eating, dysregulation, and yeah. So, yeah, Pallavi.
I'm sorry, I started to look at the uh,
That's okay.
the
Let's start
comments.
with the
So,
intro and
anyways, I
then
think I'm
begin.
not able to. So I think, anyways, I'm not able to add the topic. So as Sumita just said that our topic today is mental health and well-being for all. Um, and now Sumita just introduced herself. I am Pallavi Singh. I'm also a counseling psychologist. I specialize working with various populations, but majorly with the help of creative and expressive arts therapy tools. So I have, I think, over 5+ years of experience, and Sumit and I know each other for the past 3 years,
Three
more
and
than
a half
three
years.
years.
More than 3 years.
Yes, more than 3 years. And I think after a lot of waiting and canceling and not happening of the live, we are finally able to do this live together. So
Yes.
today, yes,
Yes, today. Because today counts a special day. It's World Mental
yes,
Health Day. And we thought
world
we
mental.
could do our bit as professionals by spreading more awareness, psychoeducating our audience, and answering to all
Mm-hmm.
the questions that any one of you brings here. So we'll start with talking about mental health. I would like to ask you, Pallavi, what mental health means to you personally?
Mental health for me is striking the balance between life, the things that I love, my work, and if the balance goes off somewhere, I think I should know how to bring the balance back into my life. And if that balance is lost somewhere, then I think that starts to affect my mental well being, my mental health. So I think that striking the balance, that balance in life is what mental health, like a good mental health means to me. What about
Hmm.
you?
So even I just wrote the word balance in my notes, if you can see. Exactly, oops, exactly same. It means exactly same to me. Plus, I also connect with the emotional ability that we all have to just contain the negative emotions, especially the scary
Hmm.
thoughts, the ability to contain the negative thoughts and negative emotions within our body, within our being, and that ability to navigate through it so that we can sustain the
I
balance.
agree.
So,
I
after
agree. I
balance,
agree.
the ability to navigate and contain the negative thoughts and emotions.
I
That's what
agree.
mental
I
health
think
means.
it is, no, I totally agree. I think it's extremely important for adults to understand how to go beyond and do things that are right for us. And it takes good mental hygiene
Yes.
to go through that. And if our thoughts are all over the place, if we are not able to control the thoughts that are overwhelming us, then I think we are definitely bound to drown in that scary thoughts water. So
Mm.
I totally agree to what you said. Yes,
So I
yes,
found a cheat code during my training and my practice towards in last 4 years, 3, 4 years. I found a cheat code to gain this ability in an easy way, which is to be in a relaxed muscle body. Whenever
mm-hmm.
I am in a stressful situation, my muscles easily get tensed up, and with more and more body awareness, I realize that if I relax them, if I just take a deep breath and I relax the muscles, the problem doesn't change. My thoughts doesn't change. I don't get an immediate solution, but still, I feel that confidence, that strength to like tackle the situation. So
Hmm.
one more thing that mental health means to me is a relaxed body, being in a relaxed body, being aware of that relaxed sensation in my body.
Yep, yep, yep. Again, I totally resonate with what you're saying.
Yes. And over the years, I realized that it is a learned skill because we have been
Hmm.
grown up in a dysregulated environment, in a dysregulated body. And through therapy, through my training, I have like learned it like a skill and practiced it daily so
Yep.
that I can share it with other people. So,
Absolutely. I would like to just add to what you just said that that we feel that we are stressed, like mentally we are stressed. It's in the brain, but I think there is a disconnect between the mind and the body that people
yeah,
don't really, though they don't realize that the stress is not just here. It is
hmm,
here in the heart. It is
yeah,
all over in the body. So we don't think of mind and body and spirit as one. We think of these three things as three different entities. Like mind
hmm,
is different, body is different. So we
hmm.
need to really treat all of it together and for one another, not
Hmm.
separately.
Yes, we cannot like I give this example of a laptop. So body is the hardware, the laptop, and our mind, our brain, the negative thoughts and emotional experience is the software. So if the laptop doesn't work properly, we cannot do our work internally. We cannot update the software. So how can we grow in our
Hmm,
life without dealing with the discomfort, the dysregulation that is sustained in our body? We cannot think
hmm.
clearly, we cannot think rationally. So the
Hmm.
laptop needs to function properly in order for the software to run smoothly.
Yep,
So
yep. And the
yeah,
viruses that the negative thoughts are, we need a McAfee or any of the antivirus
yes,
softwares that that you have to download. And that downloading is the awareness that we have to learn. It's a practice, practice, practice over time.
yes. So one thing I
I
would like
see,
to, yeah,
I think there is a question from Amsa. Uh,
okay.
So can you just wait for a little while? We'll definitely get back to your question and maybe correlate it with the topic that we have chosen today.
Hmm. So, moving on with the topic, I want to bring like our intention, as we discussed before the live,
Hmm,
is to bring awareness and spread the message or help our audience how they can inculcate this sense of taking care of their mental health. This sense, this understanding,
yep.
this realization that mental health needs to become the priority in order for them to have a healthy lifestyle, grow and think
Hmm.
rationally in life. So,
How do
one,
you say? Hmm,
okay, according to me, I have realized that this is a learned practice and it takes a lot of consistency, discipline, and hard work, like literal hard work. If we learn a skill
hmm,
in therapy, matlab learning a skill from therapy is not a magic solution. Meanwhile, when you're away from the therapist, when you are in that uncomfortable state, you have to practice what you have learned in therapy to actually feel the safety in the same environment. And that is like a solid hard work. So, for all of you who think like therapy, counseling, or talking to someone can help, yes, it can obviously help, but that's a temporary solution. To take care of your mental health, you have to have that like what है ना in the passion, the the clarity that I have to do this and I have to make it a priority and have I have to work hard. So it's like achieving any goal.
hmm,
Taking care of mental health is not easy and it's like achieving any difficult goal. But with the hard work, with the solid consistency, you can do it.
hmm.
So, hmm,
Everyone can do it, I think.
yes.
And everyone, I
So,
feel I have to say that people should, air quotes, air double air quotes, like people should take care of their mental health.
hmm. So, what do you suggest to our audience? How, with what practice or any practical tip they can have that, cultivate that sense
Um,
of mental health care for themselves?
in my experience, like personal and professional experience, I've seen a lot of my friends, I've seen a lot of my clients, clients from other therapists, and of course, a lot of reading material that I have gone through. So, with adults, I think the problem actually lies in pleasing the society, pleasing the people around us. Like we are working, if we are working, if I'm doing anything in my life, if I'm not doing it for me, if I'm not doing it for me, If I'm doing it for anybody, means anybody, if my parents said it, if my neighbor said it, if my neighbor Sharmaji's daughter or son are doing it, that's why I'm doing it. And anybody else, if anyone else is the motive behind me doing something, that is definitely gonna cost me my mental health. So you have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to your very core. You have to turn inwards and you have to what exactly it is that I want to do in my life, even if it is taking, another year, one more year, 2 more years, 3 more years. People are definitely going to talk because people talk. If we let the thought that people are gonna talk about us, this is a vicious cycle because people are anyways gonna talk. They're
Hmm.
not going to stop, even if you please them or if you do not please them. So once you realize that you are not being true to yourself, you will realize that all of whatever you did in order to please others but yourself, you'll realize it is all in vain. ये सब व्यर्थ था मैंने जो भी किया क्योंकि मुझे तो ये करना ही नहीं था. तो जिस दिन हम चीजें अपने लिए करने लग जाएंगे, of course without hurting any other person, and by hurting I mean कि आप उनको कष्ट पहुंचा के कुछ काम कर रहे हो, तब आपको लगेगा कि हाँ ठीक है मुझे ये करना है, मुझे ये करना ही पड़ेगा क्योंकि मैं ये चाहता हूँ या मैं ये चाहती हूँ अपनी लाइफ में करना. तो जिस दिन हम खुद से सच बोलने लग जाएंगे उस दिन आई थिंक हमारी मेंटल हेल्थ ठीक होनी शुरू हो जाएगी. तो
Hmm.
आई थिंक being true to yourself is extremely 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 important.
इसमें एक फ्लॉ है that I have felt from my practice, from experiencing
Hmm.
everything experiences of my friends and family members, that in the process of pleasing others, we all grow up because the societal
Hmm.
conditioning is like that. And that the consequence of that process is we get disconnect from our own selves. So, given that we are going through that disconnection, it gets very difficult to even understand what do I want to be true to myself.
Yes.
So, the thing that if we are disconnected, we think that we are right in our heads and everyone is wrong. Our anxiety is justified, it's valid, it's rational, worrying, over worrying, and whatever negative emotions we go through and express in an expansive way, in an irrational way, everything gets justified because we are in our
Hmm.
head, disconnected from ourself, from our body. So,
Yes.
in order to, if you ask me how we can cultivate that sense of mental health care is practically make some things, some activities your priority that keeps you connected with your body first. If you're connected with your body, you're connected with yourself.
Hmm.
That's what I feel.
Hmm. And I would like to make it very clear that when Sumedha says, I am thinking, I'm assuming, Sumedha, that this is what you probably want to say, that when we talk about connected to our body, it doesn't mean that only going to gym or going for jogs and all of that and bodybuilding and all that. When we say about being in touch with our body, it can mean anything from being tactile, sensory issues, going to a beach, feeling the grainy sand, coloring a mandala book, just watching the birds, any kind of just having any kind of sensory experience is what we mean by getting connected to our body, right, Sumedha?
Yes, sensory, movement, relaxation, creative, anything where
Hmm.
our
Anything.
body gets some sort of stimulation. That it breaks the
Hmm.
loop of that thinking, negative thought, negative that scare, that anxiety that you're feeling. It breaks the thought, it breaks that loop. So,
Yep.
this is one thing. If people out there cannot afford therapy, are scared to reach out to someone for help, just ask yourself in this category of movement, of relaxation, of sensory, of creativity, in these four categories, what activities can I practice in my daily routine? And make that your priority. This is one very
Hmm.
practical, easy tip that you can like make use of, but you have to have that discipline with you.
Hmm. Discipline and awareness. This
Yes,
is what this
awareness.
is my This is the thing that is going to relax me.
Hmm. Yes.
So yes,
And
I agree.
and with the awareness point, I also realize that throughout the day, the activities that anyone is going through, just reflect that what part of the day, what part of the activities are you actually enjoying? Because once we stop enjoying our routine, once we stop enjoying whatever we are doing in life, automatically it is replaced by stress. Automatically it is replaced by self-doubt. What am I doing? Where am I going? Is this the right step? Is this the right person to choose? All these questions we get back in our head, we get into our mind, we get into our brain, and we lose our connection. So with
I
awareness,
agree.
just ask yourself, I have been living this routine daily. Do I do anything that I really enjoy? And if not, add something that you enjoy. That's the simplest way
Hmm.
for making it clear.
Hmm. Also, to bring awareness, I think there's this thing that I have started to uh, do with my clients, that I ask them about how they walk. I ask them to describe their walk with words.
Hmm.
And most of the clients find it extremely difficult to explain, like, how do I explain my walk? Like, how does one explain how they walk? So I start to help them with, for example, do you lead with your upper body, or do you lead with your lower body? Do
Hmm.
your arms sway, like, do they go a lot up, a lot back, or do your arms are always by your side, like very less movement in your arms? How do your shoulders go? Like, do you move your shoulders when you're walking, or do they not? So they understand that, oh, okay. So then they try to, of course, describe their walk. And when they're describing, I show their walk to them. I try to show their walk to them with what they have described. And if they say yes, like I was slightly close, then I try to add a little bit of movement to their walk. For example, if they are leading with their upper body forward, I try and ask them to do it with me and then push it back.
Hmm.
So this is the awareness that people do not have generally, because we are so caught up in our daily lives and we don't know. Like, this is like, someone is like literally pushing us from behind, and like we're going to just fall over any moment now. So again, balance. So the body should be like this, it should not be like this, or
Hmm.
like this. So there has to be this balance again.
Hmm.
So this awareness with the fact that they did not know how to describe their walk. Then I asked them, if you're sitting, how do you sit?
Hmm.
Like, what's your sitting style? Like, do you cross your legs, or do you sit with your legs apart, and etc. etc. Like, trying to make them understand that these little intricate things have a lot of effect on our daily lives, on how
Absolutely.
we go and take on the day in front of us. So बहुत छोटी छोटी माइनर चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जिसमें हम डिफरेंस जब लाना शुरू करते हैं, वो छोटे छोटे डिफरेंस थोड़े टाइम के बाद बड़े डिफरेंसेस, मेजर डिफरेंसेस बनने शुरू होते हैं. तो
Hmm.
जैसे ही हमारी लाइफ में कोई चेंज आता है, वी आर इमीडिएटली अवेयर कि ओ ओके, दिस हैपेंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस. So what
Hmm.
do I do? Do I change the scenario? Do I change this? Do I change that? So this is how we bring awareness. Like, this is just one example, like very one small example of how we make people aware of their
Hmm.
bodies, and then correlate with the thought process.
Hmm. So, from my understanding of what you said, you're trying to bring a difference in the feeling, what they are presently feeling. Because in order to like get out of that anxious state, get out, like even in trauma healing or trauma experiences, we try to focus on changing the person's feeling when they are
Hmm.
recalling the past, the feeling when they are scared, the feeling when they are like about to enter into a situation where they might get triggered. So, taking
Hmm.
care of your mental health also focuses on working on changing the feeling that you are experiencing, that you would have usually experienced in a stressful situation. Like with the walking example, If you ask me, and now even I was recalling how do I walk. So usually
Okay.
my upper back is a bit hunched and my weight is kind of distributed on my knees as well. So
Hmm.
the connection with the workout and with the physical movement and activities, I realized that there is something wrong in the way of movement of my body, that my knees have started to ache.
Hmm.
And what sort of stress or what sort of disconnection or how, like, how much of the times I was totally in my mind that I adapted this posture of walking by my upper body hunched and weight on my knees rather than on my feet and ankles. So when I got the awareness, I actually consciously practiced and changed my like sense of feeling in my posture so that I can be more conscious in my movement. I don't know if that
Hmm.
makes sense to our audience, but I hope I'm able to describe the emphasis on how do you have to bring the change in that feeling state.
Hmm. So the thing is that Sumita started to take care of herself. I start to take care of myself. The practice of self-care is very strongly linked to our mental health and mental well-being.
Hmm.
So we need to take care of ourselves first and foremost. And then again, a lot of people are, of course, again, they're going to talk that people who are taking care of themselves get labeled as selfish. So the line is very thin. The line is very thin. Here lies self-care. This is the line, and here lies selfishness. So we
Hmm.
have to understand the difference between self-care and selfishness. Self-care does not affect the lives of others around us. Selfishness does. So I think you would know that where you're getting selfish.
Yes.
So if your life is not affecting somebody else's life,
Hmm.
self-care. But again, people are gonna come and tell, you know what, you did this, I feel hurt. So
Yeah.
again, there is a lot of practice behind it. So awareness and practice and understanding of what actually self-care is and how different it is from being selfish. So all self-care is not selfish. So we need
Hmm.
to learn how to take care of ourselves, because if we are not taking care of ourselves, we will not be able to take care of anybody else around us.
Hmm. So with that, from my own personal example, if I tell my family members to start taking care of themselves, they're like, we are trying, we are taking rest, we are doing, but it's all just following the instruction. We also need to
Hmm.
internally give ourselves that allowance. Like if you are resting,
Yes.
you're physically sleeping, but your mind is not at rest. So that rest, the body
Hmm.
does not receive that repair, the relaxation from that sleep, from that sitting down time. So what you also actually have to do is first thing is to allow yourself. People are so conditioned to please the society, to think what others are going to think about themselves, and every time anybody takes an action, they first think of what outside the environment is going, how the environment is going to get the impact, and how the other people are going to think. So with this, it limits our mind, it limits that allowance, and taking that action for self-care becomes really hard. It actually
Hmm.
feels like a challenge. So I also want to ask you that I get that how that we should take care of ourselves. But even if I want to, even if I intend to, I am unable to allow myself. And then it becomes a very challenging and taxing task. And I've
Hmm.
had clients coming to me with that situation. So, what would you suggest? How can we develop that
Hmm.
allowance in ourselves?
So first of all, this self-care should not seem like a chore. It shouldn't sound like or feel like work. The moment it starts to feel like work, it won't feel like self-care. So first of all, we have to make people understand that you do anything that you like, get out of your routine. and do it. For example,
Hmm.
I wake up at 5 a.m. I don't wake up at 5 a.m. I'm just saying, like, for example, I wake up at 5 a.m. I get up, I start my day and do this and do that. I go for a walk, I come back home, I prepare my breakfast, I pack my lunch, I go to work, I finish my work, I come back home, I take a shower, I prepare my dinner, have my dinner, go to rest, wake up at 5. This is what routine sounds like. I do this. Routine is very good. Routine is extremely good, but once in a while, one day, 1 hour, just do anything that you like. Just sit outside on a balcony and just have a cup of tea. And if the thoughts are running across your mind, let those thoughts run free, run free. Because the moment we try to stop it, the moment we try to stop, so these are the thoughts, going, boing, bahar nahi jayenge. They will
Hmm.
come back and again and again and again. So we need to, shut the
Hmm.
mind for that little while and because our mind, our bodies, we have this tendency, we are very resilient, we are
Hmm.
extremely resilient. The moment we try to suppress the thought process, this is the moment we are telling our brain that, you know what, you're not good enough, so shut it, don't do it,
Hmm.
don't do it. But the mind feels like, oh my god, this is what is happening. Oh, okay, I was shut down, so now you're sleeping, and that thought will come back because you did
Hmm.
not let it go.
Yes.
So just 1 hour, just 1 hour. The self-care should not feel like a chore again. Self-care, it doesn't have to be always fun also. There has to be something that you should wanna do
Hmm.
for you, for you. And if somebody comes and says, you know what, मेरे को उसी 1 घंटे में कुछ काम करना है, draw a boundary there. This is
Hmm.
my time. So whatever you want to do, I will help you do it. Or if you want me to do it, I will do it, but after this time. Because if you need my help, you will also have to make exceptions for my time.
Hmm.
So
So,
this
to
is
gain that mental peace, to get back in control of the situation, to feel okay, we have to, and really have to make self-care our priority first.
priority. Yes.
Yes.
And uh, like when we said that mental health and well-being for all, I understand a lot of well-being, mental well-being, revolves around adults.
Hmm.
So don't take it too hard on yourself. I know the world is actually run by adults only,
Hmm.
and we have a lot of people to take care of. And then a lot of families have differently able people, children, and old age people, their parents, or in some cases, grandparents. So I understand that there is a lot of responsibility being a caregiver. So don't take it too hard on yourself because, again, like I said, if you are not giving yourself that love, you won't have love to give.
Yes.
So love yourself and be compassionate to yourself first. Be kind to yourself because trust me, people do a lot, and when they are not appreciated, because first people, again, it's conditioning that people seek this validation, people seek support from outside,
Hmm.
and once they have it, they know what support feels like. I would
Hmm.
understand that, yes, I would need support from people, but I would also need to support my own self. If I
Hmm.
don't support my own thought process, if I'm not able to stand up for myself, nobody else is going to come and stand up for me.
Hmm.
So a
Absolutely.
lot of differently abled people, their mental health is also affected. Now, differently abled people uh, can be people who have hearing impairment, visual impairment, people who have CP, uh, children, adolescent, adults with autism, ADHD, people with Alzheimer's. Sumita, you have an example for
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, if you care to share.
Yes. So for me, I have a family member, a very elderly family member with Alzheimer's, and a lot of our routine goes around taking care of him because he's old and obviously body functioning is quite weak. He is mostly out of awareness from his Like he cannot sometimes identify our, matlab, me or my mother or other people. So we have to take care of him like a baby. But he is an adult. But he's a child as well. So this
Hmm.
conceptual understanding, like he's an adult, but we have to take care of a parent. The child has to take care of a parent first. Next thing that a lot of adjustments around my routine. If I go out and see other people sharing their family stories, I cannot relate to them. I cannot resonate with their situation with my own. There comes a gap. There comes a disconnection. Like, whom do I share with? Who will understand? And all these questions. And then the responsibilities that we have, if we skip it, it comes onto the health of either my mother or my own health or my grandfather's health, who is with Alzheimer's,
Hmm.
who is experiencing Alzheimer's. So it's a very like I am always on a borderline. It's a risky situation on how it's like a smart. I have to be smart in order to make time for myself. I have to be smart to teach my mother in order to make so that she can make time for herself. And a lot of smartness is required in risking and in creating that balance
Hmm.
between doing something for my own self and not paying attention to him, especially for my mother. Because lot of dialogue at home also keeps revolving around the situation with the Alzheimer's or what next medicine should we get, when should we go out for the next appointment, test karane hai, blood test karane hai, karane hai. So even if we are resting, the conversation is around the topic from which we have taken a break. Then that is not rest. Now here comes awareness that if you are taking an time of doing a self-care activity, you just don't have to do it physically, you have to do it mentally as well. And sometimes you have to put boundaries with your own self, not with other people. That this time is off, I will do a certain activity even if I'm not enjoying, I have to inculcate the practice, so I will do it. And I will not think about things or I will not like bring that anxiety that I am usually in when I am taking care of the situation that stresses me out. So this thing that I've realized from my own experience that stressors will never end. The negative
Yep.
situations will never ever reduce. It will just be the same. But it can always like expand like a balloon if we are not feeling okay. If our mental health is not okay, the negative situation that we are already in, हम उसको और बिगाड़ सकते हैं. लेकिन अगर हम अपना यहाँ इसको शांत रख पा रहे हैं, इसको इसको प्यार दे पा रहे हैं, ऐसा compassion के साथ, तो वो negative
Hmm.
situation में we can bloom like a lotus in the mud.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So
I
that
agree. I agree.
so and for the thing that you talked about disabled people, for children, even for children. One more thing that when I saw you working with children, I learned one thing that we need to tell the kids how they are feeling because they are too young to even understand what's going on in their body, what's going on outside, and they struggle in making sense of the situation. So if as adults we are not regulated, we are not feeling okay, how can we be able to comfort kids? And a lot of us adults
Absolutely.
were those kids who needed comfort, who did not get that comfort, who struggled
Hmm.
navigating what is happening around us. कोई तो बता दो, कुछ तो help कर दो. But we did not even have the words, the vocabulary.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Yes. So
Yes. So we need to be those adults for the younger generation now.
yes, exactly. So why taking care of mental health is important? Because we want to be responsible for our own
Hmm.
family, members, for our younger generation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because parents do get agitated. They have a lot of work. Again, like I said, the world is run by adults. They have a lot of responsibility. And while adulting, sometimes we forget that we don't always have to be an adult. Be a child with a child. Whenever you are spending time with your child, or any child, not just your child, any child, try and see the world through their eyes. Just let it go once and stop thinking like an adult. I have be a very, very, very recent example. I met one of my favorite kids, and it was drizzling. It was drizzling, and she was just looking up and up and up. And she's like, look, look, Pallu, ma'am, it's raining." I was like, "Hi, it's raining." Like कि देखो देखो बारिश दिख रही है, बारिश की drops दिख रही हैं. I said हाँ दिख रहे हैं. And then she asked me to look up, and I could actually see the rain drops, droplets like coming like right on me. And I was like, huh, yeah. And I thanked her for giving me that perspective. So sometimes again we need to change our perspective. Sometimes we need to change the gears and
Hmm.
see the world through a child's eyes, and then it would be so refreshing. Trust me on this, it would be so refreshing. And just when we are following a child, imitate a child.
Hmm.
Whatever the child is doing, you do, and see that connection and that bond forming, the bond growing stronger, all that while you're having fun.
But you were able to do that because you were relaxed, because you take care of your mental health. If you would not have been relaxed, you would not you would not have had that space in your head to even consider what other perspective the child is offering you, to see the droplets
Hmm.
like that. So
Yes,
this
yes.
space, we need to carry that space as an adult
Hmm.
so that we can take care
I
of our child's mental health.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here, if I get parents coming to me and they want me to counsel the child. They're
Hmm.
like कि मैम ये हमारा बच्चा ऐसा है, इसको बच्चे को ठीक कर दो, ये देखो ये बहुत तंग करता है, ये करता है, ऐसे
ये
करता है, वैसे करता है.
ये हो गया
Then
है.
my question is, what do you do then? हाँ, then I'm like कि what do you do then कि मैम मैं इसको बोलता हूँ या मैं इसको बोलती हूँ कि आप ऐसे करो, 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 ये करो, वो करो. So the whole narrative is that the child is supposed to listen to what the adults are saying.
Hmm.
So the idea that you're giving to the child is that adult is the one running the world, which is true. So I can't wait to become an adult like this person. And trust me, if you're not being a good caregiver, I'm not using the word parent. By caregiver, I can mean like, a much older sibling or an aunt, an uncle or grandparents or extended family. So if you're not being a kind adult, please do not expect the world to be kind to you when you are much older.
Hmm.
Because trust me, I say that our words, our actions, they are like boomerangs. You throw these and they will come back to you sooner or later.
Hmm. Right.
Yes.
Right.
So
So one
mental
thing,
health.
yeah,
Hmm.
from your example, ये करो वो करो ऐसे करो वैसे करो, मैं बस बोलती हूँ मैं बोलता हूँ. One thing that I also experience and I also see in the pattern from my clients is we are always told to do things, and that makes us lose our sense of control. Instead of teaching the child, बच्चा वो कर भी लेगा जो आप बोल रहे हो, बट उसको बोलो मत,
Hmm.
उसको पहले बताओ, उसको समझाओ, फिर सिखाओ. वो सब नहीं होता है. We are always told and not taught.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that makes us lose our sense of control also. So
Hmm.
another point that is important in taking care of mental health is try to have some sense of control, and not that negative frustrating control कि सब मेरी मर्जी से हो जाए, सब वैसा हो जाए, वो वाला कंट्रोल नहीं. But एक होता है that sense of control that we don't have while growing up. When we are
Hmm.
growing up around in a very from controlling caregivers, in a controlling
Hmm.
environment. अगर हर कोई हम पे कंट्रोल करता है, तो हम अपना सारा कंट्रोल ही दूसरों को दे देते हैं. क्योंकि हमें लगता है अच्छा ऐसे
I
ही
agree.
रहना है. And that's when we start functioning from the thought that what will other think, what will other feel.
Absolutely.
सो वो सेल्फ केयर प्रैक्टिस में धीरे धीरे वो थोड़ा सा सेंस ऑफ कंट्रोल अपने लिए रीगेन करना होता है.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Yes. I agree. So I think we have one question. I think let's just take this question
Yes,
and then
sure.
maybe we can sign off. Amsa, I
So
don't know if
first,
you're here or not. Sorry for taking a lot of time to come into your question. So Amsa asked us how kinky fantasies affect moral and ethical values of a person. So
question.
Sumedha, I think your master's dissertation was around this. Would you like to go first?
How kinky fantasies affect moral and ethical values of a person? From what I am able to get instantly, I'll have to think about it to like proper give a proper answer. But our moral and ethical values are conditioned from our home environment, number one, from our school environment, number two, and from the society, whatever attitude, whatever like schemas we gain. ऐसे करना चाहिए. What is of right and wrong, of good and bad? We grow up by learning the schemas of good and bad and right and wrong.
Hmm.
And from there, we settle with the understanding what others give to us. So, in order to understand what kinky fantasies are affecting me or my moral and ethical values, first we need to understand what exactly is my own moral and ethical value. जो मैं सोच रही हूँ
Hmm.
morally incorrect और correct है, वो मेरा अपना है या मुझे कंडीशन करके यहाँ पे डाल दिया गया है.
Hmm.
So first step would be to identify my own moral and ethical value and then see if having some fantasies which a person which we are told that they are not appropriate are actually not appropriate for you. Are they putting any stress, pressure on your physical, mental, emotional health? Or they are just giving you stress because of this conditioned perspective
Hmm.
of. So this is what I can make of it. Like there is a lot of self-introspection and reflection that needs to be done to answer this question.
Yes.
What would
Yes.
you say? Do you want to add anything to it?
Um, I think kinky fantasies are correlated and at the same time not related to one's moral and ethical values. So my moral and ethical values, again, like you said, are correlated, very, very, very strongly linked. And how do I say? They're rooted in how my family brought me up.
Hmm.
So one's family, one's extended family, what in India, if we talk about India, our culture, Indian culture, or let's say Southeast Asian culture, we have micro cultures in our big culture. So how those micro cultures are going to have an effect on my fantasies. So Amsa, as a professional, I would say that when we get to adolescence, we will definitely have no control on what kind of kinky fantasies will start to build up in our minds. Trust me, we will have no control. They are going to erupt because our body is going through a lot of change.
Hmm.
And the same way you cannot control these bodily changes, they are again connected to how our brain's functioning starts to change from child to adolescence.
Hmm.
As soon as we hit puberty, our thoughts definitely start to change. And again, coming back to moral and ethical values, they are made by the society. If you resonate with the moral and the ethical values of the society, then you might or you might not say that yes, it's true that the kinky fantasies are affecting my moral values.
Hmm.
But even if you have good moral values, trust me, they you definitely would have no control over your fantasies because your fantasies, again, like I said earlier in the session, uh, our thoughts will have they won't know when to stop. I would know when to stop them. So till the time your thoughts are not affecting somebody else directly,
Yes, not
they
even.
should not affect you as an individual.
Hmm.
So this is
That's
what we could understand from your question. If you have another question, or I don't know, I think we have a question here by Vanshika.
No, she's how
Uh,
to Vanshika,
how to gain in the question she's asking. Let me share this. This is the question.
how to gain control
How
of
to
your own life once you have grown up. Okay.
Sumita, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, I can do. So first of all, the intention of gaining control is what will limit you in gaining control, in gaining real control. So you need to understand whatever situation I am in, whatever people I am surrounded with. Just make this imaginary circle and realistically reflect what all things are actually in your control. Their reactions, the environment that is happening. For example, COVID. COVID made a lot of family members lose their loved ones. Was I like we wanted to get that situation in our control, but was it in our control? It's in nature's control. So first identify, just break down the situation or your life event that you are going through into certain simpler factors like people who are affecting you, people's behavior, who are what what other people, what other family members are doing, and it's affecting you. What situation you are in, and what thoughts you are having. What kind of sensation you are feeling in your body. What stressful reactions you are giving out, and see what exactly in all these factors you can actually have your control. Can you control your family members? Can you control the nature of the situation? Can you control the choice of whom you want to be around with? Can you
Hmm.
control the negative thoughts that are constantly running in your mind? And can you control the sensation, the discomfort, the stressful feeling, and the reaction you are giving? So I think if we just focus on our reaction, on our perspective, on our sense of learning the skill of navigating those negative thoughts and negative emotions, then I think we can definitely gain that control in our own life
Hmm.
that you would like to want to have in while growing up. So anything
I
else you'd
agree.
like to add to Living?
Um, Again, this control that we all want over our lives has been questioned since we all. This is a question that we all have in our minds ever since, like I said, since puberty. Because as kids, you're always told what to do. Going back to what we just discussed.
Okay.
Um, as kids, we are told what to do. As adolescents, we are told what to do. And I think कुछ साल पहले तक ऐसा होता था कि आपको क्या कपड़े पहनने हैं, शादी किसी किससे करनी है, शादी में खाना क्या बनेगा, वो भी सबकी परमिशन लेके ही होता था.
Hmm.
But I think our generation, the kids I think who were born in the 80s, who are now adults, they have been trying to actually take control of their life back from their parents because they saw that nothing good has come
Hmm.
out of giving your life's control to somebody else.
Hmm.
Because in the end, people are actually gonna just say, it was your life. Why did you let others run it? Um,
Hmm.
if you had a problem, why didn't you say then? Because I was
Hmm.
not allowed. I was not allowed. I said it. Nobody would have heard me. So you have to, again, to gain control over your own life, you have to actually see that why is it that this question came to my mind? What
Hmm.
made me ask this question? What part of my life started to get affected
Hmm.
that I just asked the question? For example, when I finished my school, I wanted to do something and my family wanted me to do something. It was since then I realized that why do I have to do something just because my family wants me to do it?
Hmm.
That was the, how I would say, an epiphany for me. And I was what? I think I was 17 years old. I was turning 18 that year. And it was then I realized that people are always gonna try and, take control of your life. And trust me, these are the people who have no control of their own lives. And that is why they are trying to take control of your life. So,
But we
which
don't
movie
want
was
to
it?
become that people. We don't want to become
Hmm.
that people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't remember this movie where this dialogue was कि अपनी गाड़ी की steering आप किसी और के हाथ में क्यों दे रहे हो?
Hmm.
और जब वो स्टीयरिंग किसी के हाथ में जाने लग जाएगी ना, आपको तब पता लगने लग जाएगा. तो जब आपको पता लगे, take that control back to your life.
Hmm.
So
और
yes.
आपको भी किसी और की गाड़ी का स्टेयरिंग नहीं चलाना चाहिए ये भी कि we should also
हाँ.
in order to like in the process of gaining back that control we also have to
Hmm.
be careful that we are not controlling other person.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yes, thank you Vanshika.
Let's try.
Thank
Let's wind
you.
this up. If we have any other questions or something.
We don't have questions. We have just very well said Pallavi ma'am from Anunka. And love
Thank you,
the idea
Anamika.
of seeing through a child's eyes. Okay, Vanshika, I appreciated that. Thank you, Vanshika. And then we have Anunka's comment. Even as kids, we are always made to believe that God will save us. Instead we can made to believe in ourselves that yes, I have faith
Hmm.
that you can and we can do this. Yes,
Hmm.
faith and belief is another like these are the topics for another time, but absolutely agreed. Thank you,
Hmm.
Anunka,
Yes.
Vanshika, Shak, and Karthike. There's one comment. Thank you, Karthike. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you for the appreciation and for attending and carefully listening to what we
Yes.
have to offer.
Yes.
So, it was fun chatting with you, Pallavi ma'am. And
Thank you, Sumedha ma'am.
I see, I am satisfied with the appreciation and with the people who have appeared and listened to us. So,
Yes,
thank you
absolutely.
for joining, guys. I hope it
Yes, thank
helped.
you for joining us, guys, and thank you for asking questions. And I hope we were actually able to help you with your questions. And Sumedha, you and I, let's get on a call after this. I have something to say, not on the not on the live today.
Yes, yes. I know. All right. Thank you, Vanshika. Thank you,
All right. Thank
Anunka.
you so much, guys. And thank
Okay.
you, Sumedha, for actually, pushing this live. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. So, again, thank you too.
Okay. Thanks, Vanshika. बहुत अच्छे
Thank
काम
you.
किए. Thank you.
Thank
And
you,
please
Vanshika.
take
Thank
care
you
of
so
your
much.
mental health and make it a priority, everyone. Whoever is
Yes,
listening,
please.
whoever is going to listen later on, make
Yes.
your mental health your priority. And with this
Yes.
message, we will leave.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Absolutely. So be kind to yourself first. Only then you will be kind to others.
Yes.
Hmm. Yes. Like Sumedha's hugging herself, go give yourself a hug if you need it, ever.
Yes. I'm just modeling for other people. All right.
Thank you, Sumedha. Okay, bye bye. Signing off.
Bye.